Hey folks, just a quick one tonight. I got a question via message asking where I was on the WebSDR controller. The viewer hadn't really noticed any video. Well, there's been video. It was the previous video was kind of split in half between a Raspberry Pi update and some basics on the WebSDR stuff that we're working on. And he just asked again about keyboard control. What all will this be able to do? The end goal is to control a WebSDR, in particular, the University of Twente, their WebSDR, which I've shown plenty of times. That's the end goal, but we need the growth path so that when a viewer, one in particular, as well as myself, so two people, and anybody else that decides to use this in the future, will have the capability to, again, control the web SDR as well as a local physical SDR via whatever web SDR or whatever SDR software they choose to use. The only caveat is the SDR software has to allow keyboard control for keyboard shortcuts. Because basically what we're doing here is we are emulating keyboards. That's all we're doing. So if it can be controlled by a keyboard, we can build an interface to control that radio, whether it's a SDR or an SDR plugged into your PC or a web-based SDR like University of Twente. Have not worked on the code much lately. I did kind of go through and commented it up a little bit. I despise code that's not commented. I'm a little old school that way. Years ago, we always commented code. You can see our LEDs, our GPIO. You know, I basically say what we're doing through here in a comment so that anybody will be able to come back and say, okay, assign buttons to GPIO pins. Oh, I see what I need to do. Let's go this way. And I'm going to paste that. Now I need to change this to button 7, and I'm going to map that over to GP8. So, okay, now I added button 7. So let me come down here. Oh, there's no button 7. So guess what? We're going to take this. We're going to enter it. We're going to paste it down in there. I'm being a little bit flip about this because I think people overcomplicate coding like this. This is actually very simple. Fortunately, Python is at the point where it's not as finicky with code, although I've seen that Python is still very finicky. But not the ultimate. The biggest things that will catch you is items while true within this loop. They have to be indented, like this is here. If you don't indent and then indent sub-process off of each one, you're going to have problems. So let me just save that. Again, so I should complete this down. So we added our button 7 on GPIO 8. Right, so now we have button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and add button 7 just to show you how easy this is to update in the future. So if button 7, right, keyboard control, I would actually have to go look it up, but you get the general idea, right? I think this, well, doesn't really matter right now, but I'm going to say just as a help function, we should be able to just now take that out and have that be F1. So now F1 would be the help button. So we could assign whatever button on pin 8. When you press it, it's the same as pressing F1 or help on the keyboard. So that would pull up whatever software you're running, the help menu. But yeah, it's really straightforward. And again, you could do the same thing. Let's just copy this down there. Let's go ahead and put that statement in there. Just going to call it help button pressed. Very simple. And again, the reason I'm doing these print statements is as a reminder to myself to look at modifying this in the future. Oh, let's call that undefined function. So that to remind me that A, I'll be able to see in the shell what function we've done. So like here, I'll save that off. Let's go ahead and restart and run our code. And again, I only have a few buttons hooked up right now, but let me come down here into the shell, mute. Hey, why aren't you working? Did not hit play? I didn't hit play. Or did I? Oh, that's right. Never mind. I have that button temporarily disconnected. Mute's pressed. Volume down, volume up. Frequency down 5 kilohertz, frequency up 5 kilohertz pressed. I don't have a button physically wired up at the moment for the help button to show you what I'm doing, but yeah. So really the only things I've done in the code is initializing the LED on the Pico. Yeah, primarily because we need a way to know that the Pico is actually plugged in properly to the PC. So right now the Pico LED lights up when it's plugged in. It's not lit up when it's not plugged in. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, I've gone through and added the comments. As you saw, we just added that button. 6 and 7, I'll check that in a minute. Once we go into our main loop, again, I've commented here, you know, LED is on while plugged in. We're going to turn on the LED. I could make it blink, but that to me would be pointless and irritating. Eventually, whatever box we build this into will have probably a green LED to say, yeah, it's plugged in and working. Again, with these print functions, it's more there as so I know the code is working and as a reminder that I may want to come back and add function to this to support piping this command, you know, whatever the print statement is, to an OLED display. We'll see how that goes down the road. It may become a little more advanced than that. It's just, he and I just keep throwing ideas back and forth. Some of them pretty good. Some of them you'll think, oh, that's a cool idea. And then we'll talk and it gets nixed. It's like, that's too involved or potentially an unneeded function. But yeah, anyways, hopefully that answers the viewer's question. If not, let me know. We'll see you guys soon.